Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the fall!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement, et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Thursday, May 1. Thank you, everyone, for watching on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. In all transparency, this was recorded a little bit earlier this evening, actually right before the games were played. Why? Well, because Stu Cowan and I really want to watch some of the playoff games tonight. Toronto, Ottawa started at 7 p.m., Vegas, Minnesota at 7:30 p.m., Dallas, Colorado at 9:30 p.m., Los Angeles, Edmonton at 10 p.m. And, with our respective jobs, I think it's pretty important that we watch the games, especially if I'm going to talk about them tomorrow morning on the radio and stuff like that. So we pre-recorded a little bit sooner. Thank you for watching, and we're brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America, driven to be different. Also brought to you in part by Playground. Looking for the ultimate entertainment destination? Playground is your ticket to nonstop thrills. Experience heart-pumping gaming action, a world-class poker experience. Playground is the 2025 winner of Fan Choice Best Poker Room at the Global Poker Awards. Indulge your taste buds at their incredible restaurants. So let loose with live music, electrifying DJs. Enjoy unmatched customer service just minutes from downtown Montreal, right across the Mercier Bridge. Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Playground. It's all there. Visit playground.ca to discover more. And you see Bittt TV right there behind me. Yeah, well, they launched their new Ultra Lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for playoffs. Only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12. In grocery stores all around the province of Quebec, it's ultra light and ultra refreshing. We'll get to some of our other great sponsors a little bit later, but without further ado, let's bring in Stu Cowan from the Montreal Gazette and HockeyInsideOut.com. Stu, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tony. First round of the playoffs are the best, man. Hockey overdose. It's fantastic.
You know what? It's I got to tell you, it is really something. They say it's the hardest cup to win in all of professional sports, and when you see some of the beatings that some of these players take, I mean, case in point, take a look at Alex Carrier, and he comes back and he's there, and he plays 23 minutes last night, and he plays as good as he did. But as much as Canadiens fans really despised Tom Wilson in this series. And you have a feeling that Josh Anderson despised them a lot too. Mm-hmm. To see Anderson and Wilson shaking hands there after the game, and the respect, like you can feel the respect through the TV.
Yep. And they started to laugh. I don't know what they joked about. Probably the fight in the penalty box.
I would the fight in the bench. Yeah, I would think it was that. Yeah.
But two Warriors, and it's part of what makes the NHL playoffs so special, Tony, is that post-game handshake. You don't see that in any other sport, right? At the end of a series, these two guys beat the hell out of each other for 5 games and shake hands afterwards and share a laugh, and life goes on. It's the old days it wasn't like that. There's stories about guys of an opposing team, member of an opposing team came in to the same restaurant, they get up and leave. John Ferguson was one of those guys who was like that.
Yeah.
But times have changed. These guys move around. They play for different teams. They have same agents. They're friends in the summer. It's union members. So
train together.
Yeah, but I mean, they still beat the hell out of each other. You look at the Kachuk brothers, and they love each other. When they play against each other, they beat the hell out of each other. It's part of what makes hockey, what I think, the greatest sport in the world.
And getting eliminated is never easy. And there were tears yesterday, but the tears that were there were not about getting eliminated. There were for David Savard playing his last NHL game, of course. And when the reality set in for David, that's it. That's the end of his career, and he's calling his retirement. Very emotional, David Savard. Very emotional teammates as well. Other than that, other than those moments with David Savard, you saw even like some smiles, and it's because I think the Canadiens, I'm not going to say they were okay with losing, obviously, but they knew they lost to a better team, and they knew it wasn't their time, and they knew their time is going to come, and it's just not now, and that's okay. So anyway,
they put up a fight. I mean, they were in every game, Tony.
Yeah,
It's not like they got blown out. They battled hard, and they were just they're up against a bigger, better, stronger, more experienced team.
I think the Canadiens, the only mistake I think they made in this series is I think they should have tried to give the Washington Capitals a taste of their own medicine, but I don't think Marty sees hockey that way, and that's okay. He's the coach, and it's his prerogative, right? So I want to let everyone know that in the past, we've gone like 12 months a year on the Sick Podcast, and we've done podcasts from wherever, whether we're on vacation or not. We don't skip them. We bring them to you. We're going to continue to bring you podcasts till at least, I would say, July. We still haven't decided about the summer yet, if you're wondering. But obviously, they're going to be much more abbreviated podcasts. So the podcast that you had, which would go anywhere between 45 minutes to 75 minutes on Mondays to Fridays, or, post games on weekends in the playoffs, not going to be like that. We're going to go with shorts anywhere between it. They're all going to be under 30 minutes, but we're going to bring you quality for sure. So thanks to stay with us. We appreciate it. The Canadiens players will meet members of the media tomorrow. They'll be clearing out their lockers, and they're going to do so at around 9:30 in the morning. It's going to start. They're going to all have exit meetings with Gorton and Hughes. And after those exit meetings, once again, they'll meet members of the media, and they'll come one by one, and you'll be able to interview all of them, Stu, tomorrow, I'm sure. And Gorton and Hughes will talk on Monday morning at 10 a.m. And I was mentioning to you before we actually went on, Stu, that I love it that way, because in years past, when the GM or, when Gorton and Hughes were asked the question, they would say, well, we haven't had a chance to talk to that player yet, so we'll see what happens. Now they're going to have to talk to that player. And they've been an open book over the last couple of years, very transparent. I mean, they don't tell you everything, but if they can't tell you something, they will.
As transparent as they can be. Yeah.
Correct. So I think we're going to have a lot of information on Monday. So this is good. I like what they're doing. Look, so one of the things that I want to do with you today is basically talk to you about some of the topics that you want to know about tomorrow when you meet with these players who just finished their exit meetings and will have finished clearing out their lockers. Mm-hmm. I imagine you're going to ask them about size in the playoffs, because everyone's had an opinion on this. For the most part, people have said you need to be a bigger team in the playoffs because you'll wear the opposition down a lot earlier, and you'll wear down yourself not as fast. Will you ask this team tomorrow and some of the players if they believe that they absolutely need to get bigger?
I will, and I think in-house, they have a couple of guys who can help with that, Florian Jacki and Logan Mailloux, who are both going to probably have an opportunity to make this team next season out of training camp. But yeah, they do need to get bigger and more physical. You made the Tom Wilson, the turning point in that series when Tom Wilson laid out Carrier. I mean, that was
1,000% turning point in the series. 1,000%.
And then also when Wilson turned down Anderson, challenged him to fight, and Wilson passed. And after the game, when he was asked about it, said he'd talk with coaches, and they told him, we need you on the ice. We can't have you in the penalty box for 10, 12 minutes. So that's a sign of a guy controlling his emotions under that thing. You could also say maybe he was afraid of Josh Anderson, because Josh Anderson put a pretty good beating on him earlier in the season.
He did, but I don't think I don't think that guy's afraid of anybody.
No,
right?
But it's yeah. I don't think he really wanted to fight Josh Anderson either. But in that stage of the game, it was a smart move, right? It was a smart decision.
They had control of the series throughout the entire series. He had nothing to gain to fight Josh Anderson and everything to lose.
No, I agree. Yeah. And Josh Anderson was defending his teammate. I mean, a big size. The hit I thought was clean. I've said that right from when it happened. It was predatory. He was trying to. I'm not saying he was trying to hurt Carrier, but he wanted to flatten him. And Anderson came in to defend his teammate. And those two guys, they just need more. They need more guys like Josh Anderson moving forward, and they might have one of those guys already in Laval and Florian Jacki. I know I went to a Laval game a couple of weeks ago. He stood out. He was the best player on the ice. It wasn't even close. He was noticeable every time he was on the ice, throwing his body around. Good hands, scored 20 goals as an AHL rookie. And Logan Mailloux, another big boy who has physicality, and then whatever else they do during the offseason. But Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton are smart guys. They see what we see.
Yeah.
And to get into the playoffs, Mark Bergeron, you say you have players who get you into the playoffs and players who get you through the playoffs. they need more guys now who can get them through the playoffs.
You're right about that. The Sick Podcast brought to you in part by Souvlaki Authentique. You know them for their amazing, delicious Greek food. 7 locations. New at Souvlaki Authentique. For a limited time, you can get your order delivered for just $2 when you order on their website. Yes, just $2. So go to souvlakiauthentique.com and enjoy fast, hassle-free delivery at an unbeatable price. And they now have a loyalty program. So sign up before your next order and start accumulating points. Who's going to win the second round of the playoffs? Go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200. If your first bet loses, scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please, please play responsibly. All right, okay. The turning point of the season. There was a time where this team was not doing well at all. October, November. October, they got blown out like 5 times. November once, December once, January, I think once. In October, late October, and mid-November, Marty St. Louis was facing all kinds of criticism from pretty much everyone in the city. And obviously, they turned it around at one point, and they seem to really have been at their best, Stu, from right after the Christmas holidays to the middle of January. There was a stretch of about 3 weeks, 4 weeks where they were unbelievable. I'm sure you're going to ask the players what the turning point in the season was for them. What was it for you?
For me, it was a couple of things. They're linked. It was December 12th when the Penguins beat them 9-3 on home ice.
9-2 on a Thursday night.
Six unanswered goals in the third period.
3-2 going into the third.
They rolled over and died. They just rolled over and died.
True.
It looked like it brought back memories of the end of Dominic Ducharme's era. And at the time, I was wondering, boy, have they stopped playing for Marty?
Yeah.
They started to tune him out. And after that game, we were all waiting for Marty to blow a gasket and be really upset. And he wasn't. He said he was disappointed. And 6 days later, the Canadiens make a trade.
That was so smart of him, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody, I remember waiting outside the media room for him to come. And I'm saying, tonight he's got to blow a gasket. Like that, he's got to blow a gasket. And he didn't.
That's why he's a coach and we're not.
That's right. And he just told his guys he was disappointed, like a father telling your kid you're disappointed, right? Sometimes that has more of an impact. But I think that game, Gorton and Hughes realized, okay, we can't keep playing the young defense we have. We need a veteran guy. We need a right-hand shot. We can't go with 5 left-hand shots all the times and young guys. And then they made the trade for Carrier 6 days later. And the record since then, after that, was like 25-18 or 20. They were way above 500 over that after that trade. And he just settled. Carrier seemed to just settle things down on the blue line. And then, of course, Caden Primo had struggled. They call up Jacob Dobish, gets a shutter in his first game. And from then, they sort of things in the defensive zone seemed to get a lot better. So Carrier was a huge, huge part of this team. Plays bigger than his size, a warrior. We saw that coming back to play the game after getting that hit from Wilson. So I think those two things sort of together, the getting blown out by the Penguins and then realizing we got to give Marty more help and the defense more help in acquiring Carrier. And I think that was the turning point.
I would imagine you're also going to talk and ask the guys their biggest surprise. And now I would imagine for the most part, the answer is going to be Lane Hutson, right? A lot of people knew coming in that he had talent, but I don't think anyone thought that this guy would pick up, over 60 points down the stretch. I mean, last night he played 27 minutes, be the quarterback on the first wave of the power play, be in the top 5 in all kinds of categories for defensemen. It's unbelievable. So I would imagine that they're all going to say Lane Hutson, but if they're not going to, if we forget Lane Hutson, what would be the second most popular?
One guy who might not say it was a surprise is Brendan Gallagher. I remember talking with him about Hutson a few weeks ago, and he said, from when he played the first game last season, Hutson played the second to last game in Detroit. And he said, just watching this guy skate around in the pregame warmup, he went, wow, there's something special about this kid. Like from that day, he thought there was something really, really special. As far as other surprises, I mean, there's a little bit, I don't know. I wasn't totally surprised. I think some people were surprised by the way Sam Montembeault showed that he is and can be a number 1 goalie in this league. He's not an elite number 1 goalie, but he's a legitimate number 1 goalie in the NHL.
They missed them down the stretch. And it's not a slight at Dobish because I was very happy with what I saw from Dobish, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I was very happy. Like even yesterday, I saw some tweets from people saying, Dobish is this. I thought if it wasn't for Dobish yesterday, I thought the score was going to get even more out of hand. I thought Dobish was good yesterday. I got no problem at all. But although he was effective, I saw signs of nervousness that I saw a lot less of with Montembeault, and it's only normal, right? What did Goldush play? 16 regular season games before these couple of playoff games? I mean, it's only normal, right?
Yep. And the other surprise, I mean, how many people thought Brendan Gallagher would get 20 goals this year? And Christian Dvorak down the stretch. I mean, this guy was fantastic. That line with him, Anderson, and Gallagher was just fantastic. And you wonder now, does Kent Hughes try and re-sign Dvorak moving forward, depending on what he gets off, what might get offered from other teams? Would he be willing to take a little bit less money to stay here, the same way Jake Evans did, if they think he can figure into their plans moving forward? Because that line was really effective all season and in the playoffs.
All right, okay. I want to talk to you as well about the HKY jersey before we get on to our next point. I think it's pretty important that I do so because they're also a partner on the Sick Podcast, and they have mystery drops all the time. And I just want to show you what their product looks like, okay? And the mystery jersey theme is the rookie class. But anyway, for $85, you're guaranteed a random official NHL jersey in your size. And this, the big hitters this month are Hudson, Demidov, Michkov, Smith, Celebrini, Dustin Wolf jerseys, many more. Just to give you an idea, the boxes look like this. All right. And this is what the jerseys look like. You open up the box. There's cards. There's hockey jersey sticker, which you see also on the box. And this is what the jerseys look like. And the jerseys are made from Fanatics. So if you're looking for hockey jerseys, HKY Jersey is the company that you should be looking at. And once again, you can order directly from them. And when they have promotions and that there's a limited amount of spots, you have to be one of the first to reply to them. And then if you do, they send you, they'll DM you a code. And then at that point, you can get into their site to pay, or you can just order jerseys. Boom. And there you go. So they got a great site. All right. Okay. You don't think Marty's approach changed at all this year, do you?
I think he got his leash on some players got a little shorter. And as he has said, the first until this season was all about development, and this season was teaching guys how to win. And
the leash was shorter on who, in your opinion?
I think on some of these, Arbor Jackeye, obviously, is the obvious guy. I think Jaden Struble also. I think the younger defenseman it was.
Is it safe to say, do you get the same feeling that I get that when members of the media ask him about Jackeye,
he doesn't like it?
He doesn't like it, eh? He gets agitated, and you think he doesn't like it because I have a take, and I don't want to disrespect Arbor. This is I have no knowledge of this whatsoever. It's just me from the outside speculating, which we shouldn't be doing. But it almost seems like when members of the media ask him about Jackeye, and you see him, blow out some hot air every now and then, and you see his patience level wear thin, it's almost like he's saying, like, I can't believe we're spending this much time talking about a death defenseman who's probably a number 6 and maybe even a 7 on some teams. Am I exaggerating here?
I think that's part of it. I mean, I think part of the reason he was sent back to Laval last year is they thought his, the sheriff thing, and I think they thought he was getting too big too quick. And
wanted to bring him down to earth a little bit.
Bring him down to earth a little bit and make him realize you don't have a spot guaranteed on this team. You got to work at it. You got to show up, first guy practice, all those type of things. And then I think the other part of it is he realizes how popular Jackeye is and how much the fans love him. And Marty has said one of his big things is it a one-off or is this something that happens all the time, right, with his mistakes? And I think what maybe frustrates him is that he sees Arbor making the same mistakes over and over, that he's trying to correct them. And I think that frustrates him. And I think when he gets questioned about Jackeye all the time, it frustrates him that he has to answer it. And he understands how popular Jackeye is, and he realizes I think he has to sort of watch his words a little bit. But I think that's more or less what it is. I think he gets frustrated if he sees Jackeye making the same mistakes that he's already worked with him and tried to get him to stop doing. And a lot of that is chasing the hit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Marty said that he's got to, and he's complimented Jack and saying he's got to realize that he's a hockey player. He can play. He doesn't have to run around looking for that big hit. Let it come to you. Be patient, and when you get your opportunity, make the hit. But we saw game 4 was it when he took the penalty, right at the blue line, the interference penalty. He was chasing that hit, right? And that's the kind of stuff that drives Marty crazy.
All right. Okay. The next step. This is going to be the big one, right? We're going to be talking about this, I think, for the rest of the summer. But a buddy of mine called me this morning and said, "Love Gorton, love Hughes." And I said, "Me too." And he says, "Yeah, and them I trust." And I said, "Me too." He said, "But the real work starts now, because what just passed the last 3.5 years was the easy stuff, right? Finishing in the cellar, in the basement, first year, finishing last, then fifth last, then drafting, accumulating draft picks, drafting whichever guy they thought, then making a couple of trades, but nothing of significance, nothing.
No pressure to win.
No pressure to win whatsoever. And now they're expected to take the next step. But now we also, these playoffs reinforced everything that we thought, right? The Canadiens are in desperate need of a second-line centerman. Unless they have one second-line winger for sure, and his name is Ivan Demidov. They're hoping, I guess, that the other second-line winger is either going to be Patrick Laine or Kirby Dach. And if it's not going to be, they're going to have to find another one of those. But for the most part, the glaring needs on this team is going to be another 25-minute horse on defense, hopefully right-handed.
Yeah, bigger.
And a second-line centerman.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then the other things you can kind of like, if you're looking for energy players on the fourth line, Florian Jacobi with this team at one point. Davidson might get a call up at one point. Luke Tuck might be with this team at one point. Thorpe might be with this team at one point. And maybe David Reinbacher, by the way, ends up being that horse on defense. Maybe it ends up being Logan Mailloux. I think they're going to be pretty good in goal for a long time, of course, with Montembeault and Dobesh. Caden Primo's down in Laval. We'll see what happens with him next year. Everyone says the goalie of the future is Jacob Fowler. For the most part, a second-line centerman and a horse on defense. That's it. And they're going to be. That's not going to be easy to come by, though.
No, and the pressure is on next season. And Marty touched on this. There's no guarantee the Canadiens could be a better team next season and still miss the playoffs, right? They got in with, the amount of points that the Calgary had more points than them in the West and didn't get in, right?
Yes.
So they
finished 17th in the league, correct?
They could be a better team next season and not get in. And as Marty said, the 16 teams that didn't make the playoffs are all trying to get better. Some of them who came close, Columbus, obviously one of them.
Yeah.
And the teams that were in are looking to get better too. So there's no guarantee that this team is back in the playoffs next season. And that's when you're saying the pressure comes on Gorton and Hughes, because right now, how many times in Canadiens history have they been knocked out in the first round in 5 games and fans are thrilled, right?
Yeah.
Never happened before. It's happened now. But
I don't think they were thrilled. They just were
they appreciated what this team did this season.
They were not overly disappointed. Correct.
Fans fell in love. I mean, that game 3 at the Bell Center, that's the crazy. I've never heard that building that loud. I've never heard it that crazy. That was wild. Like fans fell in love with this team this year. They really did. But now the expectations are at least get to the playoffs and at least win a round next season, right? Otherwise, it's going to be considered as a disappointment. You look at the New Jersey Devils a couple of years ago, and they had, I think they were second or third in the league and missed the playoffs the next year. So the NHL is a tough league to make the playoffs. Just making the playoffs is an accomplishment. Marty spoke about that last night. But there's reason to believe that this team will be good enough next season or better that they can take that next step. Just because I have confidence in Gorton and Hughes that they know what this team needs, and they're in a position where they can go out and get it. They have money to go free agent shopping. They have 2 first-round picks. They have prospects they can trade. So I believe they can fill the holes that they need to fill.
All right. Okay. Demidov, I love flashes, and we'll talk about him in just a minute. First and foremost, though, let's hear from Marty St. Louis. We had 2 clips from Marty St. Louis from last night after the game.
Those 5, ran the first PP the last 2 games. I thought, they got some really good looks again tonight. I thought it was, awesome. And obviously you pulled a goalie, and those guys are going to go out there, and you put Galley in that front. It's, like I said, like the pain that you feel right now is normal, but I think it's not even close to what's coming, the joy that's coming, So I think obviously we nothing guaranteed. You got to, keep putting your foot forward and work on it. But it's very encouraging with, not just the talent that we have, but to me, what's more at the front of that is the individuals that we have. We have great humans, and it's a fun group to lead. I mean, I feel like they saw a hard-working team that doesn't give up. You saw it again tonight. We had a good push in the third. I think, and I think when teams gave us a little bit of space, we were very dangerous, So I if we introduced ourselves to the rest of the league to these playoffs, I think they, especially being the youngest team and stuff, I think we can walk out of here with our head held high, We didn't leave any stone unturned.
He's right when he says they are a very likable group, Stu. They really are. And I want to add something. If I was that clip that he gave about the pain that we're feeling right now, but it's going to come nowhere close to the joy that we're going to experience together. If I'm the Montreal Canadiens marketing department, I don't have to tell them how to do their job because they do it a lot better than I can. That picture of the 5 players between 19 and 25 where Demidov's like jumping in the air on top of them, that picture and that audio clip from Marty St. Louis yesterday about the pain we're feeling right now is going to be nothing compared to the joy we're going to have in the future all summer long into your season ticket campaign next year, and go with that.
Yeah, and those 5 guys, that first power play, right? Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Hudson, Demidov. I mean, Mike Matheson talking with him a few days ago, and he was saying all the top power plays in the NHL have guys that have been together for a long time and are really talented. And these guys are all really talented, and they're going to be together for a long time. So it's a good reason to be excited, right? And Demidov didn't look out of place playing in the playoffs. He did a 19-year-old kid coming over from Russia with 2 games of regular season play and then thrown into the playoffs. He didn't look out of place. And Marty wasn't afraid to play him. I mean, Marty had him out there. When they pulled the goalie, those are the 5 guys that were out there. Yeah. With Brendan Gallagher stand in front of the net and take a beating. So that's something to really be excited about next season with how that power play is going to look. And they're not predictable.
Yeah.
With Laine, it was predictable. You go back to Shea Weber, it was predictable. These 5 guys, it's not predictable at all. The only thing that is predictable is that Lane Hudson isn't going to shoot. And that's something he's going to have to work on.
He's going to have to work on, but he let one rip yesterday.
Yeah.
He let one rip yesterday. He had 6 shots, by the way, that were blocked up. Probably also because he doesn't have a great shot. But
he has to make his shot at least somewhat of a threat. But
Stu,
apart from that, I mean, those 5 guys together going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Stu, I picked up Guy Lafleur's jersey about 3.5 years ago because he was my childhood idol. I don't remember before that. I don't remember when was the last time I had a hockey jersey. I was probably like in my early 20s, and now I'm 52 years old. Mm-hmm. A couple of days ago, I was given a Lane Hudson autographed jersey. And to my right now with HKY jerseys, I have a Demidov jersey that I think I'm going to keep and I'm not going to give back. So just goes to show you how much I love these 2 players. I like a lot of players on that team, but I'm crazy about Lane Hudson and Demidov. I think they're the way they see the game and their hands and the way the game just slows down for them. I think it's unbelievable. I'm going to end up framing the Lane Hudson jersey. I'm not doing it yet because I want him to win the Calder. I expect him to win the Calder. So we'll get a picture of him winning the Calder. Mm-hmm. Then we'll make him sign Rookie of the Year on the jersey. We'll put a plaque of his individual stats and then we'll frame it. But I don't know how many people, Stu, came up to me in the last couple of weeks and said that at one point they had lost interest in hockey and the Canadiens made them fall in love with hockey again. Like there's no...
Fans fell in love with this team. People who are big fans, people who maybe weren't that big hockey fans before. Canadiens are the one thing that brings everybody in this city, in this province together, right?
Yeah.
If you're English, French, white, black, whatever you are, people love this hockey team. And the excitement with Demidov and Hudson. I mean, Nick Suzuki this year is the first point per game player since Alex Kovalev on this team. That's a long time that this city has not had an offensive star.
Yeah.
Matt Snaslin, the last Canadian to finish in the top 10 in scoring back in 1986. So it's fun. The big stars were Patrick Roy and Carey Price, 2 goalies. Yeah. Now you have 2 young guys that are coming in, and you got Nick Suzuki too. You got Cole Caulfield also. I mean, it's exciting times for the Canadiens and their fans, and rightfully so. And those 2 guys, I've never seen. It's interesting you mentioned the sweaters. In all the years I've been going to the Bell Center, I've never seen more Canadian sweaters at the Bell Center than the 2 games in this playoff series. Like it was like at least 90% of the fans had a Canadian sweater on.
It's not only about being a fan, it's almost like it's become a fashion statement too now. It's unbelievable. I totally agree with you. And, I think the Canadians are a big reason as well why we did so well in a couple of categories. And let's bring it up if we can. Cult Montreal, CULTMTL.com. They every year they come out with the best of Montreal, and whether it's Italian cuisine, French cuisine, restaurants, music, dance studios, art museums, whatever, you best spots in Montreal, best Instagram spot, whatever. There's so many categories. And Montreal is voted, and not all of Montreal. And but we want to thank everyone who voted. The Sick Podcast, this one here where we talk about the Montreal Canadiens for a second year in a row, has been voted best podcast in Montreal. And that's not just sports, that's all podcasts. And once again, the whole city didn't vote, but whoever did vote, we thank you very much for voting for us. I was back on the radio, of course. I think everyone knows that started back up in August, and came in number 2 at radio host, and came in number 3 with my radio show and TV personality at 3 and Twitter at 2. And this, by the way, a lot of humility behind this. This has nothing to do with me. I think it's all the power of the Montreal Canadiens, really. I think, I was talking Canadiens hockey, and I think the Canadiens got so many people excited. But I do want to take this opportunity, Stu, to thank you and all the other collaborators on the Sick Podcast, because obviously there's a part of you and all the collaborators in this, the entire team, the entire staff, and all of our sponsors. Energy Transportation Group is one. Playground is another. HKY Jersey is another. La Bittt Tibi is another. Souvlaki Authentique is another. Betway is another. Bomboloni is another. Fruiterie Dillard is another. And if there's somebody that I forgot about, well, I'll make sure to name it tomorrow. And it's so sorry about that. But thank you very much, everyone. Stu, thanks for doing this, and we can watch our playoff games tonight.
Well, Tony, you're selling yourself short, because I know hard work pays off. I know how hard you work, and I know how passionate you are about what you do. And I like seeing good things happen to good people, and this is yet another example.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife goes, you don't really work. You just talk sports for a living, and you do it anyway. And she's probably right about that too. But there's a little bit of work involved as well. Thank you, Stu. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Tony. All right, there you have it. Stu Cowan from the Montreal Gazette and HockeyInsideOut.com. Special thanks to Shane Gaumont and Master Control. And I want to thank the Cavaliers, of course. We've been bringing you the Sick Podcast for over 5 years. We've been full-time since September of 2022. So we are a couple of months away from our 3rd-year anniversary of full-time, and stuff like this where you're voted the best podcast by Cult Montreal and all of their voters. It's not one person that does this. It takes an entire team, and the Cavaliers are a big part of it. And so is Shane Gaumont and Master Control, and so are all of you. So thank you very much to you, our sponsors, the entire staff. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. And most likely Brian Wild of Global TV Montreal is going to join me, and he'll give me his thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens players and everything that they had to say after their exit meetings and clearing their lockers. Thanks for watching. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. It's our way of feeling the love. It's the Sick Podcast. Good night, everyone.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. La Vida TB, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.